Let's get into it, I guess. OCD activate. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm that guy Mike, and today we got a special one for you. It's a little bit of an unboxing reveal, never once seen ever before by me, by my own eyes. I've only seen the videos of this product, never owned one, never used one, and I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form with this product, the brand, or whatsoever. So today we're going to be talking about the Tidal 35 hang over the back filter, or HOB filter, which is something that you'll hear commonly in this hobby. Again, never once owned it, picked it up at my local fish store, haven't even opened it yet. I was saving it for this video so we can go through it together. We can open it up, see what's inside, and see how it performs in the future with an update video. Pretty small box, nothing crazy. Two of my hands wrapped around. I'm not shocked or anything, I don't have huge hands, so you can get an idea for how big this filter may be inside this box. It's not too big, which is cool because not everybody likes that big clunky HOB filter off the back. It throws off the look. It takes away that clean look up, from the tank. For those who don't like a bunch of stuff hanging off the back and whatnot, I know I don't. That's why I use on this tank behind me a canister filter. I just have two simple hoses for the intake and outtake. And that's it. I don't want any big bulky stuff hanging off the back. But otherwise, this is what we got. The Tidal 35. As it suggests in the name of the product itself, it's good to up to 35 US gallons or 130 liters for my friends across the pond. If you're watching this video, this is available for you overseas as well. Let's see what else. I'm gonna read the specs right here right off the front of the box so you can see what we got. So again, up to 35 US gallons or 130 liters. Highest flow rate in class with 130 US gallons per hour or 500 liters per hour. Pretty impressive. It's got a self-priming pump. Well, they're gonna talk about why that's important here in a little bit. It's got a self-cleaning impeller. We'll see about that. It's got a surface skimmer. That's pretty cool. And it has a maintenance alert feature, which we'll definitely check that out, see what that's all about. And a high capacity filter basket with matrix biomedia, meaning this actually comes with some media for you, which is pretty cool. Save you some money in the long run. On the back of the box, it gives us a little diagram of everything that comes inside the box, which is pretty cool. I'm not expecting you to read any of that. I just want to give you a quick glimpse of every little thing that's supposed to come into this box, which is pretty cool. So if I rattle it off real quick, it's got obviously the filter itself, the top. It comes with the Seachem Matrix Biomedia. It comes with looks like a coarse blue bottom foam filter, the basket itself that you would put all your media inside of, and a regulation dial, an aerating return flow, man, words are difficult. Surface skimmer intake, a leveling dial, a low wattage self-priming pump, and a self-cleaning impeller. So with that being said, let's stop procrastinating, let's get into this thing. Oh, and by the way, I'm looking at the top right now. It says, scan this QR code for access to a user manual. So pretty cool. You can do, I'm assuming there's a manual already in here, a little booklet, but if not, if you like to use your phone or your iPad or whatever you got, you can scan this code with your phone. A link should pop up, tap on it, and it looks like a manual for you should pop up so you can walk through it and set it up. Also worth noting that this thing comes right out of the box with a 3-year warranty by Seachem. And if you register it, it gives you 2 additional years. So 5 years total on this product, which is pretty cool. So let's open this damn thing up and see what it's got. So pop that open. All right, let's see. Don't need that. Get away. Okay, so once we open it up, we have the manual as expected. Again, if you scan that QR code on the top, it should give you this book in an electronic form. Pretty cool. Bunch of cool, pretty pictures. Put that off to the side. Now, immediately, what we're presented with is the filter itself. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that open. Here's the top. Pretty sleek, pretty clean looking. It's got our little alert button here. So when your filter, in theory, needs to be serviced, from the inside, this little poppet will float. It'll pop up just like that from the surface, indicating that your filter needs servicing. So if that actually works, I don't know. I never had one like this before. I've never really messed with HOBs, but if it works, that'd be pretty sick. If not, I would recommend either way servicing your filter periodically on a certain schedule. Whatever that is that works for you, that's what I'd probably stick to. And then maybe play this by ear to see if this thing really holds up to what it's supposed to do and how often it actually goes off. So that's cool. Okay, what else do we have? Pull this right up. Okay, so it's the whole basket itself. There you go. That's what you get. Power cord. Set that down. And that's it, nothing else in the box. So we're gonna go ahead and push this off to the side. Okay, cool, so initially pulling this thing out, seems pretty solid construction. Nothing's loose, nothing squeaky, nothing rattling. Yeah, pretty solid construction. Solid black all around. It's got little blue accents around and whatnot, which is pretty cool. Inside you'll find your filtered media basket. It's got two little handles on the side. If I can get this thing to stay still. Pull it up, and it comes right up. On the inside, just an empty bottle. Now, normally on regular HOBs, inside of here in this cavity, you would actually have your propeller or your impeller, which will supposed to draw in the water from the intake, fill up your filter, go through your media, and come out to the front here, trickle in back to your tank. What's different about this is that the impeller is actually here on the inside of the tank at all times. What's awesome about this, if you've done any research on these filters like I have, if in the event you lose power in your house, if you have any experience with HOBs in the past or currently that's not manufactured in this way, you do know that if you lose power and everything kicks back on, these things will not fill themselves up with water and just start over again. Most of the time you'll have to go get a cup, fill that thing up with water, fill the back of your filter back up to get it all started again and get the cycle going. What's awesome about this, being that this is always in the water, is that as soon as it kicks back on, if you were to lose power, it forces the water up back into your back of your filter, into the basket, refilling it and starting the process all on its own, which is awesome. So if you're at work, if you're gone for the holidays, if you're on a vacation, if you keep track of where you live and you found out that you lost power or whatnot and you're freaking about your fish tank, you're freaking out about it, thinking that your filter's not gonna kick back on, well, with this, you can rest assured that it will kick back on, it will fill back up with water, and it'll continue filtering your tank, which is freaking sweet. All right, so what else do we have on here? So as you can see, looking at this, you might notice this blue stick. It rotates about a quarter turn each direction. So if you look at your cap, you've got the poppet valve that we were talking about for maintenance. And on this side, you have a little hole with arrows on either direction with a plus or a minus. So this is gonna be your regulation flow, meaning how much water goes into your intake, filling up your filter, whether you wanna slow it down or you want it to pick it up, or if you wanna pick it up. So if you put this on, this will protrude through, and you simply turn it one way for a higher flow, or turn it the other way for a less flow. It's all preference, depending on what kind of fish you keep, so you're not blowing them around everywhere. Or maybe you want a more hardcore filtering. Maybe you have some sort of fish like African cichlids that love to poop in the water 24/7. So that's what that's for. That is your regulation flow dial, if you will. And it's got a satisfying click to it too. What else we got on here? So on the bottom, we got another blue device. Like I said, this is pretty cool. It has these little blue highlights. And it seems that everything that's blue has something to do with its function. So that's actually pretty cool. There's no guesswork again on what this filter does or where all these things are located. So here's what they call an adjustable leveling device. What does this mean and what does this do? And I'll tell you. As you know, with an HOB, you will slide this down on the edge of the back of your tank, and it'll sit into your tank just like this. This side with water, this side outside on the back side of your tank. Now, given your tank is only so thick, so what you don't want is to hang this on the back of your tank and have it wobble back and forth. You want to make sure it's steady, nice and secure. So this is where this comes into play. Rotating this dial or this device will actually minimize the space in between, which will allow your filter to pinch up against the back of your glass, keeping your filter nice and still. That's an awesome little thing that no one really thinks about. Awesome to have that. Okay, now if we work our way to the front of the filter, the part that goes into the water, on the very bottom you have here, this is going to be your self-priming pump. So like we talked about before, this is the pump that you would normally see on regular HOBs inside of your filter, whereas this one will be in your water submerged at all times. This pump will force the water from your tank up the intake, filling up your filter, coming back out into your tank. So it is removable if you ever need to clean it. It's got two little clips here. Give that a little tug, it comes right out. The removal is pretty easy for cleaning and maintenance. If you have a lot of gunk here or whatnot, you can simply pick that out. And down inside, if you can pick that up, not sure if you can see the impeller or the propeller for the motor itself in there. So if you ever need to get any gunk out of there, you could. It doesn't seem to come apart anymore. I'm sure there is a way, but I will not be attempting that as I do not want to break this. But that right there in a nutshell, that is your impeller motor. So you go ahead and reconnect this. You line up this hole right here at the very top with the hole right there that it connects to. You just line that up, push up on it, it clicks right into place, and that is nice and secure. Okay, so once we got that motor reconnected, if you work your way up, you've got a little wavy line right here, which actually indicates the minimum water level that you want to have this thing at. So on the side of your motor, right, if you're looking at it straight on, if you look to the side where that propeller was that I was showing you, that intake is right here on the side of these little grates. It sucks water in through here, going up and filling up the basket. The reason why you want to have a minimum water line is so that way your pump is not running dry, running with no water flow, can overheat and overwork the pump. So very cool indicator to show whether or not you need to put more water in your tank. From here, if you look up, there's another line that's pretty straight just underneath the lip of the little waterfall here. This is preferably where you want to have your water at, so that way your skimmer can go ahead and do what it does. If you have your water line high enough to where these grates are submerged, what this is going to do is going to collect any contaminants, any little particles, any little free floating stuff that's on the top of your tank on the surface. This is going to take it in right here. It's called a surface skimmer, which is really, really cool. So it's an extra polishing act. So you have your intake here, then you have your skimmer here, which is pretty cool. So now that we got this whole component right here figured out, let's go back to the top real quick. There is a cool feature. So unlike any other top, you just pop this off and it really just keeps water from splashing out the top, wetting your surface around at the top of the tank, or maybe on top of the table that you have your tank set on. What's cool about it is that this is a multi-purpose lid. What I mean by that is you have one purpose right here, an indicator to show you when the filter needs to be serviced, okay? You've got a port right here for your regulation flow knob. Again, like we showed you earlier, you can increase or decrease the flow. But not only that, it has a third function which you wouldn't be able to see unless you flipped upside down. And here, you've got two little notches. You might be wondering what those notches are for. Now again, something that Seachem thought of that other companies maybe just don't think of, or maybe it just wasn't enough of a factor for them to think that customers need this. But let's say you need a filter, or you need to clean out your filter, which means completely removing it from the tank, and maybe you have to transport it to the sink, maybe to another tank to get it established. And since you have biomedia that's already seasoned and ready to go, so what you'll do is you'll pop off this top, you'll flip it upside down. Let's say you have your filter media basket in the filter. Again, you need to take it out to service it, to clean it out, maybe put some new media in there. You're pulling this out of a filter box that's full of water. So inevitably what happens is when you take it out, it's gonna drip a whole bunch of water getting on everything, making everything wet, and your significant other is going to be pissed. Or maybe your parents, or whoever you live with. So what's cool is that you've got on the bottom of your filter media basket, these little slots, okay? Those slots perfectly line up with the bottom of your cover for your filter. So you got two little slots right there. Those will click right into the top and stay in place and secure that basket. Now, is it the most secure thing in the world? No, I wouldn't go crazy and run a marathon like that all the way to your sink and think that it's not gonna fall or spill everywhere. But it's good enough to have it in your hand without fear of it tipping over, with a nice calm walk over to your sink, or wherever you're gonna go, to your buckets maybe, and clean this thing out and not have to spill any water all over the place, because the top itself has a pretty good lip around it to where any water that does drain out of this basket will not overflow and go onto the floor or any of your surfaces. So one of the little things that people don't really think about, Seachem got you covered. On the subject of your filter media basket, let's move on to what comes inside the basket itself. So you've got its own little contained container with two little handles on the side, convenient for taking it out of your filter box. So what comes inside? Let's look at it. So we've got a bag of Seachem Bio Matrix. Am I saying that right? Someone help me out here. Boom, with Matrix Bio Media. There you go. Pretty well sealed. It comes in a little filter bag with a plastic zipper, so that way there's no metal parts, no fear of corroding inside of your water. But there you go. That is what comes inside. And this is the back side. So obviously we'll pop this open and wash it out under tap water just to get all that dust and sediment out of it, so that way it's not floating all over the tank once I put it into the tank for the first time. So that's your biomedia. Now for your mechanical filtration, if you reach inside, you've got a coarse, perfectly cut out blue filter sponge. Really good for getting those big particles out of your water, such as floating food, fish detritus, AKA poop, and any other things that are unwanted in your tank. Now, you can improve this whole system by adding in some different filter media. You can add maybe a fine filter, sponge filter on top of this one to catch the little tinier pieces that maybe this misses. Other things that you can use if you don't want to buy Seachem's product itself, you can go ahead to Walmart, maybe even Amazon, get yourself some polyfill, which is very fine, dense, basically the stuff that they use to stuff bears and whatnot, like stuffed animals. That'll work perfectly fine. So again, this would go in first. If you get a fine pad or that fine filter media that I just explained to you, you put that on top next, along with your biomedia on top, and then boom, you've got yourself a filtration system. So all in all, everybody, that's what comes inside of the box for your Tidal 35. Again, this comes in different sizes. You've got a 55, a 75, and a 110. What's great about that is that it takes the guesswork out of what size tank these filters can handle. It's all in the title. 35 up to 35 gallons, 55, 55 gallons, 75, 110, you get it. So really awesome. Again, I'm a huge fan myself of Seachem. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I do have a 20-gallon tank that this will be going on to see how it performs, see how much better it makes that tank, because as of right now, all I have in there is a sponge filter. I'm a big fan of sponge filters as it acts as a great home for beneficial bacteria, but I do like my water to be nice and crystal clear, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a second culprit to the filtration system. If you wanna check that out, I'll make another video. I'm gonna do an update video on how this thing does, how it performs. I'll post some pictures to show you what the tank currently looks like and what it looks like after about 24 hours or so. Other than that, guys, I have a bunch of other cool stuff happening in the future as far as for content and all that stuff. I recently got super lucky and scored a 90-gallon tank for only $50, 50, which is insane. Try to go to any other store and find a 90-gallon tank for 50 bucks. Not gonna happen. And if it does happen, you find a place, let me know. I'll fly out there wherever it is. A little bit of a project tank though. I'm not gonna make it sound like it's a perfect tank out of the gate. I'm not really too thrilled with what the seal looks like on that tank, so I do plan on resealing it and hopefully being able to make a video on that, so that way others can see what the process is like and how much patience is probably required. Never done it before, so it'll be a first for me as well. As for the tank behind me, the reason why I got a 90-gallon is because I want to start to separate the fish that I have in my tank behind me. Not that I'm having any issues, but right now I have mbunas, peacocks, and haps all mixed into one. Yes, it can be done, so don't listen to the naysayers who say they can't. But understand that if you're going to do that, it's not for the lazy, it's not for those who just want to set it and forget it. These fish require a lot of attention, they require a keen eye, and you really want to take care of them, see what's working, see what's not working. If you have a bloodbath on your hands and every time you get new fish, they're always dying, or your current fish are always fighting and you're always having to replace them, you need to do your research, you need to keep an eye on your tanks consistently, and you need to make sure that the system that you have is working. If not, tweak it. So my plans for the 90-gallon, I really want to turn that into the main display tank. I could take the position of this one because what I have behind me now is a 60-gallon tall. So what I want to do is replace it with the 90 and fill that up and for my peacocks and my haps. Take this tank. I'm currently in the middle of putting together a studio, and I'm gonna have this tank behind me up in the studio, and it'll be used for a mbuna tank only. I'm pretty excited about it because I'll get to mess a little bit with aquascapes, whereas peacocks and haps like more free swimming space, and mbuna is like a rocky, sandy environment. So I'm really excited to set that up and make it special for each species, so that way they can enjoy their own space without having to share it with others that have different preferences. Other than that, stick around if you want to see how that goes. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. I'm coming out rolling. I got a new playlist that I started that I'm really excited about. Basically what I'm doing is I'm showing you every single fish that I have in my possession, and I'm creating a profile for each fish, so that way if you're thinking about getting the same fish for yourself, before doing so, you can check out these videos, see if this fish is right for you, learn all about what you need to know about that certain fish, and hopefully help you become a successful fish keeper in the hobby and grow and expand and educate others. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.